guys, day 3 of your Fantastic 5 for the week. Today's the day where we really want to start seeing some growth. We really want to start seeing some of those numbers go up. I mean, yes, you want to be at a 5, but ultimately we're hoping that by Wednesday you're at least improving or you're sitting somewhere around a 3. If you're right around there on a Wednesday, you're on the right track and you're on pace to be at where we want you to be on Friday. I think if you're utilizing these videos, I think if you're reaching out to me and asking questions, trying to Zoom, that stuff makes a difference, guys. And I can see the difference in certain individual scores when they reach out, ask for additional help, or if they just say, hey, I'm watching your videos, this and that. Stuff makes a difference, guys. So some of them are a little bit lengthy, but it's worth it, I promise you. All right, so we're going to get right back into it, looking at number 1. Numbers 1 and 2, really important this week. Same stuff we're going to be doing in class. These are the ones where if we can do it just a certain way, we can make it a little bit easier on ourselves, right? So number 1 says, Harrison hit some home runs. Excuse me. Gunnar hit 5 times as many home runs as Harrison. Together, they hit 48 home runs. How many home runs did Harrison hit? So again, I see 5 times as many. I instantly think box method, which means 2 things are being compared here, and I'm going to pull them out. So let me get my marker here. I'm comparing the home runs of Gunnar and Harrison. So I'm going to pull Gunnar and Harrison out, put an H for Harry, G for Gunnar. And remember, the number of boxes comes from the times as many. So if it says that Gunnar hit 5 times as many, that means Gunnar automatically gets 5 boxes. And by default, Harrison is automatically just going to get 1. So I want to throw something new in there because I noticed yesterday people are doing really good math, but they're not reading the question. Right here, when it says how many home runs did Harrison hit, I'm going to go ahead and put a star beside Harrison just because I know that's where I need to look at the end of the question, just so I don't maybe slip up and look in the wrong spot. All right, so now I got to keep pulling out information. It says together they hit 48 home runs. So that 48 doesn't just have to do with Harrison. It doesn't just have to do with Gunnar. It's got to do with both of them. So that's where I'm going to put this bracket here. And both of them together equals 48. So I've got to take those 48 home runs and I've got to split them evenly between all their boxes. Well, if I'm looking at my picture, I see 6 boxes between both of them. So I'm going to take 48 home runs, I'm going to divide them into the 6 boxes. Again, if you know your facts, it makes this a lot easier. If you don't, you might know your multiplication with 6 times something to get you 48. But if you do the math, that's going to give you 8. That 8 means that I'm going to put 8 home runs in each of those boxes. The star is helpful because now I know where I'm looking. When it says how many home runs did Harrison hit, boom, I've got it right there. It would be 8. Now today I gave you an answer choice that might make some people slip because if you didn't read the question correctly, you could look at Gunnar's picture and say, ooh, Gunnar hit 40 home runs. That was an answer choice today. Hopefully we're reading that question carefully. And maybe tomorrow we can start using that star so we're not making those reading mistakes. So again, times as many, box method, that light bulb went off in my head. Same type of deal for number 2. It says Jersey ordered 12 erasers. That is 3 times as many erasers as Davis ordered. How many erasers did Davis order? Again, times as many, multiplicative comparisons. Got to pull the 2 things that are being compared out. And in this case, Jersey's erasers, Davis's erasers. So we got a J, we got a D. And now you got to figure out who gets the boxes. 3 times as many. So somebody's going to get 3 boxes. Is it Jersey or Davis? Well, if it says that Jersey ordered 12 erasers and that is 3 times as many as Davis ordered, that means that Jersey's getting 3 and Davis automatically gets 1. So you can't just solve number 1 and number 2 the same way because the numbers that it gives us is representing different people or different things. Because here it gives us the number 12, but that 12 only has to do with Jersey. That has nothing to do with Davis. So I'm not going to do my bracket and say that they're both equal to 12 because that's just not true. I'm just going to say that Jersey's 3 boxes are equal to 12. because we don't know anything about Davis yet. So what I'm going to do with that 12 is I'm going to split those 12 erasers between Jersey's boxes, not with Davis. Again, that 12 only represents Jersey. So I'm going to go 12 divided by 3, not 12 divided by 4. So again, if you do that division, if you know your facts, 12 divided by 3 would give you 4, which means that each box is going to have 4 erasers. And one thing I already forgot, I should have put my star. The question says how many erasers did Davis order? So I would have put a star right here. But then again, if I look at my picture, I see the 4 right there. That answer would be B. My fear on questions like these is that we're going to take that 12, but we're going to divide it by all 4 boxes, because there's still an answer choice for that. But I don't want you to do that because that 12 only represents one person. These questions, again, can go a bunch of different ways. You got to read. Very important that you read. So again, 1 and 2, we're going to get a lot of practice with those this week, most likely next week too. So by Friday, we're hoping to see those numbers going up. They might be going up now. I'm filming these pretty far in advance, so fingers crossed that they're going up. All right, looking at number 3, trying to find all the factors for 18. I'm going to start by finding my factor pairs. Very first factor pair is 1 times 18. I know 2 is going to work because 18 is an even number. That means it's going to be a multiple of 2. But I know my facts also, so I know I can do 2 times 9. Okay, I'm going to try 3. 3 times something might give me 18, and it does. 3 times 6. Now, I still have to try all the numbers between 3 and 6, so 4 and 5. 4, if I listed my multiples of 4, I'm going to go right over 18. And then I know 5 is not going to work because 18 doesn't end in 0 or 5. So I got my factor pairs. I'm going to list them in order, least to greatest. Then I will look at my answer choices and see which one fits. So I would eliminate A because it's got a 4 in there. B looks pretty good. I would eliminate C because it has a 4, but it's also missing 6 and 9. So that would be gone. And then if I'm looking at D, again, it's got a 4 in there. We didn't have 4 as a factor. It's missing 3. It's got 8. It's missing 9. So that one's all kinds of funky. And then if I look at my 2 answers that are left, or my answer that's left with what I got, they match, they're identical. That one would be B. Again, I've said it before, I'll say it again. If you know your multiplication facts, it makes everything you do in math so much easier. That one's a great example. All right, looking at number 4, going to our geometry question again. And this one kind of just comes down to shapes. Now, you should have been able to eliminate an answer and really get your answer based off of the video from yesterday, if you watched. Really, I'll know if you watched based off of this question, because you could honestly have no idea what a hexagon was, an octagon was, and a pentagon was, and still get this one right, because I showed you a picture of a rhombus yesterday. We talked about it a little bit, kind of how it's similar to a square. So I can kind of get an idea of if you watch the video or not. But we'll talk about it anyways, because again, what I say right now might help you on a question down the road. When you're talking a hexagon has 6 sides. Now, we talked about an octagon yesterday. An octagon has 8 sides. When you think about an octopus, it's got 8 tentacles. Pentagon has 5 sides. The picture that I showed you yesterday of the rhombus looked just like this. Again, it's got 4 equal sides, does not have 4 right angles. It also has 2 sets of parallel sides. The question is asking which shape below does not have 5 or more sides. That would be a rhombus. So I showed you that picture yesterday. And again, pentagon, 5 sides, octagon, 8 sides, hexagon, 6 sides. You will see those shapes again. So if you want to pause it, rewind it, I'll say it one more time. Hexagon, 6 sides. Octagon, 8 sides. Pentagon, 5 sides. All right. So in the video yesterday, I told you that you may look at this question today, number 5, and think that maybe there's not an answer. Maybe Mr. Huber made a mistake, or maybe you made a mistake, and you might have just picked one that looked close. We're going to take care of that today. Again, if you watched the live Zoom Monday, you knew what to do. So this question says, which picture below shows a pizza that has 4/8 left? That means you can see 4/8 of that pizza. If your mom told you to go in the kitchen and ask you how many pieces were left, you wouldn't tell her how much got eaten, right? So let's get our fractions written down. I'm gonna try and get all these pizzas on one screen. Good. All right, so I'm looking for 4/8. Here we go. So again, I like to kind of extend my lines. That way I know how many pieces are supposed to be there, how many are missing. And you don't have to do those lines. Holy cow, Mr. Huber, seriously? That's about as good as I can get. But again, you're going to get your denominators from how many total slices they are, how many they were cut into. And if I'm looking at pizza number 1, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 total slices. So that pizza's in eighths. If I'm looking at pizza 2, there's 1, 2, 3. That pizza's cut into thirds. If I'm looking at pizza 3, boom, boom, that pizza was cut into halves. And if I'm looking at pizza 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, that pizza was cut into fourths. All right, and now we are talking about how much is, hold on, how much was left. All right, good. So what we can see with our eyes is what is left. Get these dots out of here. So for pizza number 1, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces left. That would be 6/8. All right. For pizza 2, there are 1, 2 slices left. For pizza number 3, there is 1 massive piece left. And for pizza 4, there are 3 pieces left. So here's where people either panic or they freak out and they think, oh, Mr. Huber, you don't have an answer on here, or you did something wrong and need to start over. Relax. You got to start going through a mental checklist. First of all, if you feel pretty confident that you have all the right denominators, you read the question right, and you have all the right numerators, you probably didn't do anything wrong. There's just extra steps you can take. So look, you may not see 4/8 as one of those fractions, but one of those fractions might represent the same amount. One of those fractions might be equivalent, or it might be equal. And there's one way that you should have learned last year that is very easy to see if fractions represent the same amount through cross multiplication. So if I think one of these fractions may be equivalent to 4/8, what I can do is I can take 4/8 and stack it next to all these fractions. And I'm going to put that big multiplication sign in between both of them for all the answer choices. So let's start with pizza number 1. You want to follow those lines. I always go bottom to top. So here I'm going 8 times 4, and that would give me 32. And I put 32 up at the top. Same thing on the other side. I'm going 8 times 6, and that would give me 48. Now, 48, 32, those are not equal, which means those fractions cannot be equivalent, which is why pizza 1 could get eliminated. All right. Same deal with pizza number 2. I would start by going 3 times 4. That would give me 12. Let me get a color you can actually see. And then I would go bottom to top, 8 times 2. I get 16. Once again, you got 2 different numbers. Those numbers cannot be equivalent, which would eliminate pizza 2. All right, so now for pizza 3, I'm going, what in the world? That's supposed to be a 4, sorry. I'm going 2 times 4, and I would get 8. 8 times 1, and I would get 8. 8 and 8 are equal. That means that 1/2 is equivalent to 4/8. So even though the fractions look completely different, they represent the same amount. That's going to be my answer. But I'm still going to check pizza number 4. You go 4 times 4, you get 16. 8 times 3, you get 24. 2 different numbers. Those pizzas or those fractions cannot be equivalent. So that leaves us with pizza number 3. So if there's a certain fraction that you're looking for and you do not see it, it doesn't mean you're wrong. Go through your mental checklist, make sure your numerators and denominators are correct, make sure you read correctly, and then see if the fractions that you got are equivalent to the fraction that you're looking for. So you didn't have to do that yesterday. You may not have to do it tomorrow, but in the future, that's going to happen a lot. So make sure you keep that mental checklist in your head. Again, I'm hoping that we can get some of these numbers going up halfway through the week. You got a couple more days. Really, you only got one more day to practice. It really might not be a bad idea, guys, to rewatch this video before you start tomorrow's Fantastic Five, just to give yourself the best chance to be successful. As always, thank you for watching. Good luck on the rest of your work.